everybody, and welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel and day one of the Turkey Trot Mystery Make-Along of 2021. This is a knit along and a crochet along. You can choose whichever one you want to follow along with and make something absolutely magical. Thanksgiving time here in America is something special to me. It holds a serious, special place in my heart. Not only because it's a great time of year that I get to have wonderful food, spend time with my family, but it's also sort of my anniversary of learning to crochet. It was over Thanksgiving weekend several years ago that my grandmother taught me how to crochet. And as they say, the minute I started, I was hooked. So every year at Thanksgiving, I often think about it as being my birthday for my crocheting adventure. So I'm excited that I get to spend a little bit of time knitting and crocheting with all of you during my favorite holiday time of year. Now, this is our third annual Turkey Trot event. I'm so happy about the project this year, and I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory about all this, okay? Turkey Trot, for the past couple of years, we've made some wearables. We've made a poncho. This is actually the Turkey Trot from 2019. This is the crochet poncho. I wear it all the time. I wear the knitting one all the time. I love them. Last year for 2020, we made pocket shawls and we did a Ruana. This year, truth be told, I actually had planned on doing a sweater. I have designed, photographed and everything, a top-down sweater. And we did that for knitters and crocheters. And quite literally at the last minute, I'm talking the day before we were announcing the material list for what you needed for this event, I called up my partner in crime, Robin Chachula. You guys know Robin. She is the one that made the crochet pattern this year. I talked to Robin and I said, hey, girlfriend, I'm not feeling the sweater. She's like, what do you mean? And I said, I am completely stressed out. I am full of anxiety, and the thought of putting a sweater on my needles and making a sweater over 4, 5, 6 days just does not interest me. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who feel that same way. And she said, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm thinking about blah. And she goes, I think that's a great idea. I think you're absolutely right that people just aren't going to be interested in making a sweater. They're going to want something a little bit smaller scale. And at the last minute, we changed our minds on what we were going to do, figured out the material list, and away we went. So we have been designing this pattern for you guys over the last several weeks, not because we weren't prepared, but because we changed our mind at the last minute, thinking it's a better choice project for all of you. And having finished the project now and gotten the feedback from other testers, I think we made the absolute right decision. So I hope you guys feel the same way. I love this project. I think it is exciting. It's going to keep you on your toes as you are making it. Going to be like, what are we making? What is going on here? It's something unique and different, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled this is something that we're making, and I hope you like it as well. All right, speaking of that material list, if you've never followed along with the Turkey Trot before, I'm going to tell you how this works. We run the Turkey Trot over the holiday weekend of Thanksgiving here in America. So it usually is about 4 days. Sometimes it's been 5 or 6 days, but it starts Thursday night, and it goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Monday, okay? Each day, a section of the instructions for the pattern are released on my website. And what you will do is you will go to that link in the video description box below, okay? Save that link, bookmark that link. You will go to that link every single day. In that link, you will find a brief synopsis of what the Turkey Trot is. You will get links to the Facebook group. You will see what it takes to win prizes. You will also see a chance for you to purchase the ad-free PDF, but don't do that yet. Don't go. I'm gonna tell you something about that ad-free PDF, so wait a second. But then underneath all of that, you will find the schedule for the Turkey Trot event. in that schedule, every day when the pattern section is released for free on the website, it will be linked up in the bottom of that blog post. So that's where you will go to get the link for the next set of instructions if you're following along with the free instructions, okay? Let's go back to that little where I put a pin in it for the ad-free PDF. The ad-free PDF is available for the first time before the event. We usually put it for sale after the event. We got a lot of really great feedback over the summer on another event we did. People loved having the pattern ad-free PDF before the event for purchase. And so Robin and I decided we were going to make the ad-free PDF available for purchase prior to the event. But here's the kicker. Because this is a mystery, those of you who get the ad-free PDF, you're going to know what we're making. And you have to promise, you have to pinky swear, you have to promise that you are not going to spoil the fun for everybody else, okay? I made sure that there's kind of like a disclaimer on there, like, hey, you're getting the ad-free PDF. You're going to see the whole pattern. Just try and keep it a secret. Make sure that you're not telling anybody what it is, because we want to make sure that it is a fun little mystery, because that's half the joy of going into the Marley's Minions Facebook group, seeing the guesses of what people think we might be making. It's just a lot of fun. So if you do purchase that ad-free PDF, the great thing is that you do have the whole pattern there for you. Days 1 through 4, they're all there available to you. And then it also has a link to the playlist right here on YouTube where all of these instructional videos for days 1 through 4 will be hosted. Now, those videos are not live until each of those days' patterns are released on the free website for the free pattern, but you will have a link to where you can get each of those videos right there in that playlist. Does that make sense? All right. So we just want to make sure that, we're all playing along and we're playing nicely and we're having a good time, right? Okay. So you've learned about the pattern. You've learned that it could be free. You could purchase the pattern. You've learned about the materials. Let's talk a little bit about what size you need to choose, okay? So when you are making this pattern, you need to decide if you are going to make a size small or a medium or a large, an extra large for the crochet pattern. Now, it's really hard to not give away what we're making and still tell you what size to choose, okay? So Robin came up with a fun little way to put in the instructions, kind of a way for you to kind of guess how you could choose the right size. And the good news is after you make your first project, you can make it again because it's a quick, easy, instant gratification sort of project. And so you're going to want to make another one. But I will tell you that the majority of you out there are going to be a size medium or a size large. For me personally, I would make myself a size large, but for my mother, I would make her a size medium. Okay, I don't know if that helps any of you out there or not, but just so you know, if you're going to err on the side of caution, I would make either a size medium or a size large. And hey, if you're not making them for you, they're going to fit somebody. They're going to make a great gift for somebody. So you're going to love it. And you heard me use the plural there because you are going to make 2 of this item. Haha. Wonder how many of you are like, well, what am I making now? You're going to make 2. So make sure you're following along with the instructions and you will be making 2. Pretty fun, right? All right, so that's how you're going to choose your size. As far as gauge, you're going to use your day 1 instructions to be essentially your gauge swatch. Super convenient. You don't have to waste yarn making another gauge swatch. You will use your day 1 instructions for your gauge swatch. So follow along with me as I show you how to do the foundation single crochet, how to work through that 3rd loop, how to change colors, and you will be able to measure that little piece from day 1 and see if you're right on with your gauge or not. All right, I think that's a little bit of everything. The last thing I want to make sure that you know is that there are prizes. You want to be part of the Marley's Minions Facebook group so that way you can comment, show your progress, and join all the fun. We're going to give away random prizes. We're going to give away final prizes. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun event. I hope you enjoy it. Make the most of it as you're working on the project. Take pictures, share on social media. Use hashtag MarleyBird, hashtag Marley made me do it, or hashtag Turkey Trot 2021. In some manner, we will find your project and be able to share in your excitement. All right, so I'm going to stop talking now. For real, I'm going to stop talking. And we're going to jump in and get going with this pattern. All right, guys. All right, guys, this is what you're going to be working on with today's section. It doesn't look like much, but it'll get you started for this project. We're going to begin with foundation single crochets, and then I know it's a little bit tricky to see here because it's a dark color, but you'll be able to tell that it looks like there's this really nice line of V stitches right on top of the fabric here, and that's created by doing something called working through the third loop. When you have half double crochets, they give you a third loop that you're able to work into. So we're going to learn how to do that. We're also going to learn how to change colors, and then I will be letting you go until I meet you again here for day 2. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab some big yarn so you can see the stitches as I'm making these foundation single crochets. So I'm using a bigger yarn than what you will use in your project, but I'm simply doing it so that way you can see the stitches better. Okay, I am using Caron Colorama bulky weight yarn and a size 6mm hook so you can see these stitches. And you will notice that there is a number written for the size you are making. So hopefully by now you've decided what size you're making and you know how many stitches you're supposed to make in your foundation single crochet. So go ahead and place that slip knot on your hook and then chain 2. Working into this first chain, go ahead and insert your hook into that first chain, okay? Yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, here's where things get interesting. We're going to yarn over our hook and only pull through one loop on our hook. When you do that, I want you to go ahead and take a marker and stick it through that loop, or stick it through, not the loops, stick it through the chain that you created, okay? Take the marker, stick it through the chain you created. Now we have 2 loops on our hook, which is just like a normal single crochet. So I want you to yarn over and draw through both of those loops, okay? Now, we're going to go into that chain that we have marked and do that all over again. So I'm going to go into the chain that I have marked, yarn over, pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops on my hook. This first loop I've pulled up is going to be another chain. So that way when I make the next stitch, I'll work it into this one. So what I do is I yarn over, pull through that first loop, which gives me a chain, take my marker and put it through that chain. That'll help you find it when it's time. Now I complete my single crochet. So I yarn over and draw through 2. Go into the chain. It's right here. We have it marked, which is nice and convenient. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Move your marker. You could put it into that loop if you want. Yarn over, draw through 1. Yarn over, draw through 2. Go into that chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You can move your marker, put it into that loop right now, it's fine. Yarn over, draw through 1. Yarn over, draw through 2. Do this again. Go into that chain, it's the one that's marked. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Move your marker. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, draw through 2. You see how you're getting this nice row completed of single crochets and they're nice and stretchy? That's really important, okay? Now, if you are not very good with foundation single crochet, can you just do a row of chains and then do a row of single crochets back? Technically, yes. However, you want these stitches to be nice and loose. So I would encourage you to really practice with your foundation single crochets and really try to use those instead of chains and singles. I know that they can be a little bit tedious, but they are worth the effort, okay? Remember, you go into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2. Go into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2. So you'll do that for the number of stitches that you need, okay? And if you need help counting, count your V's on top. That will help you know how many stitches you have. So far, so good. All right. So we can check off a foundation single crochet. That's awesome. The next row that we are doing, we're not changing colors yet. We're just doing basic half double crochets. And you'll notice in the pattern that it tells you that the first chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So as I chain 2, I am going to place my first half double crochet into that very first stitch of mine, okay? I want to make sure I'm skipping those 2 chains, yarn over my hook, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, draw through all 3. That's a half double crochet. Yarn over my hook, go to the next stitch, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. And we're going to do this all the way down your row. Now, you'll have a lot more stitches than I have right here. I'm just doing a little swatch just so that way you guys can see how these stitches are completed without going down an entire row. But at the end of this particular row, we're going to change colors. We have started off with our color A, all right, so this would be considered my color A. And at the end of the row, I am going to change to my color B. All right, so I'm at the end of my row. I have 3 loops on my hook. I don't want to finish off with this color yet. I'm going to grab a different color. Let's grab this one. This is another color from that same Ogo. This is the Ogo Colorama Lippy. I yarn over with my new color and I pull through all 3 loops with my new color. Now, you'll know in the pattern it says do not cut color A. Don't cut it. When you're supposed to cut a color, the pattern will tell you. Otherwise, we're going to leave it attached, and then when it's time to use it again, we're going to float it up and use it again. We have color B on our hook, and it's time to turn our work and begin row 3. We're going to completely ignore our color A. Now the pattern tells us that we are going to place single crochets into the 3rd loop. Well, the first thing we're going to do is chain 1. And now we have to decide where is that 3rd loop, right? Where is the 3rd loop? Well, normally when you single crochet, if you're looking at the top of your work, you're putting your hook in underneath that V, right? You're putting your hook in underneath that V, and then underneath that V, and then underneath that V, and underneath that V, so on and so forth. That's perfectly fine. That's a normal way to crochet. But when you want to put your hook in through the 3rd loop, that is underneath this V. It's right here. You see that? You see that loop right there? When you work a single crochet into that 3rd loop in this manner, it takes those V's on top that you normally go through and it pushes them to the front of the work, and it gives you a nice line of V's along the front side of the fabric. Can you see that nice line of V's? Those V's there are the tops of the half double crochets, and the stitches above it are actually the single crochets worked into the 3rd loop. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. You find that 3rd loop, you go into it, go from the bottom up, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. It's that easy. Go to the 3rd loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Go to the next loop. It's right there. It's kind of hiding from me a little bit. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Go to the next loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. This is really quite easy to do. I think the hardest part is when you get to the very end. It's easy to accidentally drop a stitch because you don't go all the way to the end, because the very last stitch of this row, it's hard to distinguish the third loop. So I'm going to help you with that. I am to the last stitch of my row, and I can see there's my last V, but it's hard to see where the third loop is. So what I like to do is I look at this post here, and I'm just going to grab that part of the post and put my slips, or not my single crochet into that bit. Okay, so it doesn't look like much on this side, on the wrong side, right? It looks nice and flat. But when I turn my work and look at the right side, you can see I have this nice row of V's all the way across the front of my fabric. Pretty cool, right? I love this so very much. All right, I'm going to go back to the other side because this last stitch here, I actually have to change colors. At the end of row 3, we change colors in this last stitch. So I'm going to undo that last one. I would drop my color B and pick up color C. Looks like we're going with this dark purple. This is going to be my color C. And it doesn't tell me to cut color B, so I'm going to leave color B hanging out there, all right? I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to join my color C, pull it up, and then turn my work. Now, with my color C, I'm supposed to chain 2. Remember, this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So yes, it's going to kind of poke out here a little bit, but it's okay. That's going to go into a seam. Don't stress about that. But now we're going to do half double crochets all the way down this row. And when we do these half double crochets, we're going to do them just like we have been before, where you go underneath the V's, right? The both legs of the stitch, and just create your half double crochets. It's pretty simple. All right. When you get to the end of this row, you will turn your work and you will do a row of single crochets through the third loop with this same color. All right, so you're going to do that third loop single crochets with this same color. So you will chain 1 and turn, or turn and chain 1. It really doesn't matter. And then you have to find your third loop. Remember, here's your V right there. Okay, there's your V. So it's this loop right there. That's the third loop. So you create your single crochet right there. At the end of this row, we will be dropping our color C, and we will pick up our color B. It's down here waiting for us, okay? So we're going to drop our color C, pick up our color B, and finish off that last single crochet with our color B. And the thing here is now we can cut color C. So the pattern tells us we can cut color C completely. So we can cut it and no longer worry about it. Now we have color B on our hook. So we chain 2 and turn, or turn and chain 2, either way works. Do our half double crochets back. And when we get to the end of this row, we will cut our color B and go back to our color A and do the third row single crochets with our color A. So you can see here, this is pretty darn easy so far. Perfect day 1 project after we've spent all day cooking, having fun with friends and family. It's just a nice, relaxing project to do. Okay, so I finished that last one, but I do need to change colors, so I'm going to undo that. Have 3 loops on my hook, drop my color B, pick up my color A, so it's all the way down here, but that's all right. Yarn over, pull up. Just make sure you leave a little slack there, so that way it isn't pulling on it, okay? Just like this. Chain 1 and turn, or turn and chain 1. I can cut my color B, And then I'm going to work those single crochets through the third loop. Oop, I split my yarn there. Just like so. I'm telling you, once you get going with this, it's completely addictive, completely addictive. So you would follow along with your pattern. Oh, that's a good place to stop because my hook came out. Follow along with your pattern. It'll look something similar to this, and you will work the sequence, the striping sequence, through row 12. So you continue on through row 12, and then you go ahead, fasten off your work, set it aside, and then we'll see you tomorrow morning. Pretty easy stuff so far, right? Okay, I know you can do this. It's pretty darn simple, good relaxing project time. Don't forget you have to make 2 of these, so make sure you make 2. And if you are not too tired, I would take the time to weave in your ends when you're at the end of today's project, so that way you are ready to go tomorrow and get started. All right, guys, that's it from me. Make sure as you're working on this, you snap pictures and share with us on social media. Use hashtag MarleyBird or hashtag TurkeyTrot2021, so that way we can see your project and smash your like button. I'll see you guys later.